Siomra Beag.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Shomer Pug. Welcome back to the tiny digital Shomer room. I am the Michael of the podcast, Michael and Benjamin's podcast, which will only be called that for a little while longer. And I am joined by the Benjamin of Michael and Benjamin's podcast, who you may know from being the secret influence behind controlling every aspect of your life. It's Benjamin.
Look, lads, I'm just doing it to protect you from you. Okay?
Exactly.
It's to protect you from yourselves. I'm not evil. I'm just looking out for you. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
You're very, in a lot of ways, Ben, it's very self-sacrificing what you've done.
Almost martyr-esque, Michael.
Yes.
Martyr-esque. You know, a long-suffering balancer of the books am I.
Yes, Ben, you've separated yourself off from all human contact to better focus on your role as a protector of time and or space.
The only pleasure I take, Michael, in my own life is occasionally making up little ditties like this one.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have anything music.
Very good. Excellent, Benjamin. Very on theme for this week. Benjamin,
Yeah.
have you ever been to a film?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to,
So, I mean, if you've ever
been to a few films.
if you've ever been to a film, Ben, you'll probably like Marvel's latest teaser trailer about how good it is going to see a film.
Oh, look, they're going to see us at the cinema, Michael. They're going to see us at the cinema.
Not bloody
Yes.
us, Ben, the way things are going.
There are no more cinemas in Ireland, Michael. What we will have in the future is a dystopian black market cinema market, and it's going to be excellent, Michael. We'll be going to cinemas underground. Wednesday night cinema club will be a clandestine affair. We'll dress all in black. We'll have little balaclavas and we'll
Ben,
skulk around. Be nice.
as you know, they say the good guys dress in black, so remember that in case you ever face to face and make contact. Benjamin,
Yeah.
do you think in the future in Ireland you'll be walking around the park and a man in a trench coat will come over and say, "Do you want any films?" And then he'll open the trench coat and he'll have the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 inside his trench coat jacket.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very realistic situation that will probably happen. That will probably happen.
Here, lads. Do you like films?
Come here to me over here now.
Come here over here.
Show you film.
Lads, do you want any films? Ben, it's quite obvious that neither of us have ever bought drugs.
Never, Michael. Never.
I'm not sure that's how it works, Ben.
Oh, it definitely is, Michael. If films and TV have taught me anything, is the trench coats no good.
Men in trench coats would just open them and show you their secret wares. Benjamin, the biggest news of the Marvel trailer about how much fun it is going to the cinema was that a lot of films now have titles.
Yes, they've been given their title cards, Michael. We got to see their flashy little title cards with motion graphics and whatnot.
Such excitement, Ben.
There's a couple of things there, Michael, that we knew and are established and we don't have to worry about. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yes, that is a thing.
I can't believe Ant-Man and the Wasp is getting a third film. I'm quite surprised. There's nothing wrong with those films, but they just don't land the same way any of the other Marvel stuff does ever.
They are fine.
They're fine. I'm still kind of in shock that he played such a huge role in Infinity War.
Yeah, he was in the quantum realm, remember, Ben? He escaped.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still shocked that he was a key part of Endgame. Look, anyway, doesn't matter. Multiverse of Madness was there as well. We're familiar with that. We know how that's going to go.
The Eternals.
I didn't know Tilda Swinton was coming back. She is. Courting controversy once again as the Ancient One, you know. The other thing that we saw, we got a little glimpse at the Eternals. I didn't know Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie were in the Eternals.
Ben, you have your ear to the ground. I don't know. There are probably some podcasts you could listen to where you might find out things about popular culture.
Probably are, Michael. I wish someone had ever sent me one that was any good.
Yeah, no, I don't know any, Ben.
So, yeah, Chloe Zhao now, of course, has given that huge backing from the fact that she won an Oscar for Nomadland. So that's going to be interesting to see, Michael.
Yeah. And now Kevin Feige's getting all cocky about it and saying, "You'll be back speaking to me when we win our first Oscar for Best Picture with the Eternals."
Oh, that's very cocky, isn't it?
Big man on campus, Ben.
In fairness, Kevin Feige is the biggest of men at this point in terms of Hollywood swagger. social relevance, cultural relevance. He's up there.
Benjamin, the biggest news is probably the fact that Black Panther 2 has a name. It's called Black Panther 2, Ben. Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, so this one is... we've gotten a little bit more detail on this one as well, Michael. It's going to be focused around Wakanda this time. We're not going to do any international hopping. We're going to look at the internal structure of Wakanda and how it works and why it's such a beacon of a mecca of technology and futurism, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, Ben. How do you make a sequel to a film where your lead actor has died?
I think it's ballsy. I think it's very ballsy, Michael, to keep this franchise going without Chadwick Boseman. I think it's going to take a lot of chutzpah.
It's going to take a lot of chutzpah, Ben, and a lot of cojones.
It's tough, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's the right decision not to recast him.
Right.
It is the right decision. But, like, how do you make this feel? Like, is there anything they can do here that doesn't make it feel...
I don't know, Ben. I don't know.
Cheap and cash-in-y?
Do they have Shuri become Black Panther? I mean, that's one option. But
is that enough, though?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
I don't know, Ben. It's...
I think Chadwick Boseman carried a lot of that film on his shoulders, and the reason it was so likable is because he was an excellent Black Panther.
Well, he was the lead actor in it, Ben, if you remember.
Do lead actors often carry the film on their shoulders, Michael?
Oh, yes, yeah. That's mostly their job, in fact.
Oh, okay. Well, he did. Him and Michael B. Jordan made that film. Now, don't get me wrong. It was an okay film.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been anything without Chadwick Boseman giving the performance that he gave. And the promotional work that he did afterwards.
And Michael B. Jordan being dead.
And, well, I mean, that's really unfortunate because lots of people want Michael B. Jordan back as a kind of down-to-earth inheritor of the throne. But he died.
He died. His character died. Although that has never stopped them before, Ben, in comic books.
He done died. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the serum in his veins brings him back. I don't know, Michael. He said it's unlikely that he'll come back, but we've heard that before as well, Michael.
We've heard all Hollywood stars are liars, Ben. That's my motto.
All of them. Do you know they don't often actually live the lives they portray on film, Michael? Those are fictional.
Disgraceful. Absolutely
disgraceful.
Disgusting. Benjamin.
Yeah.
What about the Marvels? Are you excited about the Marvels?
So that's a pretty interesting... I'd like to see Monica Rambeau again. So yes, I am excited about the Marvels. I think Monica Rambeau is going to be excellent. I quite liked her in WandaVision. And I'm looking forward to seeing what her weird, timey-wimey, dimensionally powers, ultra-spectrumy, wavy powers can do.
Benjamin, is it going to be Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Carol Danvers, Lady Marvel, a.k.a. Monica Rambeau, and Miss Marvel, a.k.a. Kamala Khan? Are they all going to be jiggling around in it going, we're all bloody Marvels?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a very wise decision, Michael. I think it's a smart idea. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this anyway, so I may as well say it. I don't think Brie Larson can carry a superhero movie by herself.
Big words.
By the same merit of Chadwick Boseman carrying an entire film on his shoulders, I don't think Brie Larson is up to that task. And I think, and I hazard a guess,
Oscar winner Brie Larson.
Oscar winner. No. Now, don't be... Oh, nice try. But I was very careful to say a superhero film on her shoulders.
Okay.
Oscar winner Brie Larson is perfectly capable of carrying a film on her shoulders, perhaps not a superhero film. And I think...
Go on.
And I think
yes.
that has always been known, Michael.
Oh.
Because what we had in Captain Marvel 1 was Samuel L. Jackson as a key player in it. And what you need there is the oomph that Samuel L. Jackson can occasionally bring, and the banter between those two is largely based on that relationship.
But I mean, Ben, every superhero film has always had a sidekick.
Yeah, that's true. I can't argue. She went through sidekicks though. Captain Marvel had initially bloody Top Gun lady sidekick, Monica Rambeau's mother.
Yes, Maria Rambeau.
Maria Rambeau, thank you very much. We had bloody Jude Law in that film for some reason.
Yeah.
Jude Law was there.
What a waste of Jude Law.
What a waste of Jude Law. Jude Law was there as a dude.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Then
that was his Cree name.
Space dude. Space dude. Yeah, we had a lot of that. But that film is not... I don't know, of the Marvel films, and this is probably going to, again, say more about me than anybody else, I don't remember a lot of Captain Marvel.
No, it's not great, Ben.
It's big shooty people in space.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't sing to me, Michael. It doesn't sing to me. But I think this is a very smart move. I think it introduces a huge dose of diversity to that film. I think it's going to be really interesting for people to see a Muslim superhero in full effect.
Well, she's getting her own show, Ben, before it launches. Don't forget.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we'll be very familiar with that
Yeah,
previous to that anyway.
And the first on-set pictures have been revealed, Ben, and the costume looks kind of cool.
It does look kind of cool. So that'll be huge because we should probably do an episode on Kamala Khan and the huge effect she had on a certain demographic of the world. I think that'll be quite interesting. Michael.
Okay, we'll do it then.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
You write that down, Ben. Put it on your little calendar there.
I'll write down my little calendar there.
Benjamin.
I don't like the way you're besmirching the calendar. The calendar keeps us on track, Michael.
Yeah, very good, Benjamin, because that's what calendars are for, Ben. Are you going to put it in for a bloody Friday, Ben, or maybe a Wednesday?
Well, initially, Michael, I'd probably go for a Friday and lull people into a false sense of security, and then BAM! I'm actually putting it out on a Wednesday. That's a very niche joke for us, Michael.
No, it's about Loki, Ben. It's about the show Loki.
We found out this week Tom Hiddleston got his own little trailer, and it was very funny. It was very in character for him. He was like, I don't like the way heroes have got their fancy little things. Where's Loki? Quite a heroic figure in his own right. Terrible Tom Hiddleston impression.
One of the worst.
Apologies to everybody who heard that. But we have found out, Michael, that the Loki TV show will be a Wednesday schedule, bringing it out a full 2 days ahead of what we thought we were getting. So it'll be out on June 9th as opposed to June 11th.
Very good, Benjamin. Wednesday, of course, Ben, very special in Norse mythology.
It is indeed, Michael. It's Odin's Day. Wednesday is Odin's Day. And I think that's a very clever little, oh, look at Loki usurping bloody Odin's place. Num, 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 num. Because Loki doesn't have a weekday named after him.
No, of course, but Thursday is Thor's Day.
Thor's Day. Friday is Frigg's Day.
They could have got any of them.
He didn't get any of them. Didn't happen, Michael. Didn't happen. Tuesday is Tears Day, as far as I know.
We're just always stealing the names from those the old Norses.
Just nicking them. But yeah, so we're getting that. We didn't really get much more in terms of information or plot or anything like that, but it's just been moved to a Wednesday. So I don't know if it's... Speaking of things, Michael, that use old-timey references, you watched an episode of something this week.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
We live in a society which has seen enormous change over the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest changes is that now the superhero story is almost the default pop culture story.
Yes,
In
true.
the olden days, Ben, if there was a superhero thing on, it was big news for us nerds who wanted to see superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will ever rival the excitement, Ben, of the show Heroes.
Ah, Heroes.
For example, because there was a mainstream program on the television about superheroes. Not beloved superheroes that you know and love, Ben, but, close enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were more than happy to take Smallville, Ben. It's all we could get.
Oh, Smallville.
I mean, it was barely Superman, but it was Superman adjacent, so oh boy, that was exciting. But then, Ben, we progressed into the world of ever increasingly popular superhero things. And now we're coming out the other end of it, Ben, where superhero shows are so ubiquitous, superheroes are so well known and so ingrained in popular culture that the TV shows are starting to catch up with comic books. What I mean by that is a pastiche or a parody is almost as common as an original thing these days.
The Boys, for example.
For example, Ben, in the olden days, if you were going to have your Justice League, you were going to have your Justice League. But the comics, Ben, are absolutely jam-packed with pastiche Justice Leagues. We've talked about them before. We've talked about the Squadron Supreme, Ben. We've talked about the Boys. We've talked about the... No, they're called the Seven, aren't they? We've talked
about the Seven, but still.
Yeah, every superhero universe has a version of the Justice League.
It does.
Every single one of them. And now, Ben, that is starting to spread into the world of film and TV. So, for example, Ben, in the last couple of years alone, we've seen a fistful of Justice League pastiches. We have We've seen, for example, The Seven from The Boys.
Very good.
Excellent, Ben. We've seen, for example, The Guardians of the Globe in the new show Invincible.
Also.
Incredible.
Very good.
Yeah. We've seen Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Boo.
One of the best pastiches of the Justice League of the last 5 years.
Michael, that was Michael, hang on. Hold on.
Yes.
You're gonna keep going there, but I want you to give yourself the biggest pat on the back.
Well, Ben, look, I have to say, that wasn't off the cuff. I did plan that earlier.
It's still, Michael.
I've bloody nailed them.
But fucking great joke.
But Benjamin, now we're into the B list, and we've got Jupiter's bloody Legacy.
Oh.
And Jupiter's Legacy, Ben, is about the children of a Justice League.
Yeah, who cares?
So you've got a Justice League, Ben, and the Justice League in this are Superman, Superwoman, Martian Manhunter, someone with flames, someone with green teleporting. You know, just your basic 6 superheroes with capes, doing
Run
a thing,
of the mill,
revolving around a Superman-esque figure.
Yeah,
classic. Classic. But Ben, Jupiter's Legacy is no use.
Oh, is it really bad?
It's really, really... Ben, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt this little rant about Jupiter's Legacy. I think I've got the 90s on the phone here, and they've got a few... Yes? Yes. Yeah, now hold on, I'll just... Ben, that was the 90s on the phone there, and they were asking for their production values back.
How's their mum?
She's fine. She's played by Leslie Bibb.
Leslie Bibb.
Yeah, Leslie Bibb. Benjamin,
Very
this
good.
show is so cheap looking.
I did predict this, Michael. I told you.
My golly gosh, Ben. There's a scene where inexplicably we're introduced to a couple of new characters.
Okay.
And then the Justice League in this show. I honestly, Ben, I watched it and I paid attention throughout the whole thing. But the name of the Justice League in this is so derivative. I actually can't remember what they're called. I think the Justice Squad?
God.
I think they're called the Justice Squad. Are they called the Justice Squad? What are they called? Anyway, look, Ben, it doesn't matter. They've got their Superman pastiche. They've got... Oh, sorry. The Justice Squad, or whatever they're called, Ben, show up. And they're flying in formation in their garish suits. And they're fighting their version of Doomsday. Or... Yeah, Doomsday is probably the best analog to this guy. You know, he's the big superpowered threat who's a threat to the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben, it is from start to finish cheap 90s looking.
Oh no!
It's like the really early days of the CW.
Wow, that's bad.
It is. It's
That's
very
bad.
strange. It takes me back to like Smallville levels of production design and acting, and it's got Josh Duhamel, Ben, and Leslie Bibb as the lead superheroes.
Who's that?
Josh Duhamel, you'd know him from the Transformers film and from being married to the musician Fergie.
Oh, he's the military boy and he has terrible taste in wives. Yes,
That's him. That's him. You leave Fergie alone. And it's got Leslie Bibb as his wife.
Who's Leslie Bibb?
You'd know Leslie Bibb, Ben. You'd recognise her from the 90s television show Popular. And also from playing Christine Everhart, the news reporter from the Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
No, I wouldn't.
You remember her from Iron Man, Ben, where she sleeps with Iron Man and then gets the cold shoulder.
I do know who Leslie Bibb is.
It's Leslie Bibb.
Oh, Leslie Bibb, who's in everything.
She's in everything.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah. And she plays the lead superhero, Ben. But they're both hideously aged.
Oh, no.
The aged makeup is dreadful, Ben. It is dreadful. Do you remember Sam Winchester in that final dreadful episode of Supernatural?
Oh, let's never watch it again.
Imagine, Ben, if your lead characters looked like that for most of the show.
That's no good.
It's no good, Ben. It's absolutely no good. And obviously they look crap. But they look crap because they also need to look young in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So how are you going to cast around that? Are you going to cast old and then de-age them, or are you going to cast
make
young?
them ageless?
Oh, awful, Ben.
Surely you
Absolutely awful.
That's a genuinely good question, Michael. Surely you cast old and de-age.
Well, that would be a lot more expensive, Ben.
I suppose.
It would look better, but it would be an awful lot more expensive.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
Is there a lot of
100%.
flashbacks?
Well, in the episode 1, no, not really. And Leslie Bibb doesn't actually even appear in Flashback in episode 1. So I
What's the
assume she's
point
going to
then?
come along later. But Ben, it is dreadful. There's a brother and sister pair, and they're straight out of 90s CW dramas where
They're
one
little
is...
edgelords.
Oh, it's one of the worst things I've seen in years, man.
The comic's not much better.
It's
The comic is
absolutely
not much
dreadful.
better. The comic is not much better, Michael. It's not a good comic.
Mm.
It's a Mark Miller by the numbers phone in.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how this got made, Ben. It's a bit of a death knell for Netflix being the go-to for prestige, well-produced superhero dramas.
I think Amazon and Disney are going to bury them this week.
They are
year.
absolutely going to annihilate them, Ben. We saw how bad it could be with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Netflix universe,
Yeah.
with how Defenders was hamstrung by its budget and its production values.
Yeah.
But, I mean, imagine that, but in broad daylight. And with
It's no good.
bad acting and bad casting choices and bad decisions about costuming and makeup, and it was like traveling back in time. It really was. It's worth
That must
watching.
have
I
been
think
surreal for you.
it was so weird. It was so weird. It was the same feeling I used to have in the olden days, Ben, when I was a 20-year-old hoping for a good superhero program and getting all excited and going, this will be the one, this will be the good one. And then watching it going, it was good, wasn't it? Wasn't it good? I think it was good. But then
Please let
knowing
it be good.
in my heart of hearts, it wasn't good.
Oh, Michael, I'm so sorry.
It's no good, Ben. I cannot recommend it other than as an oddity.
Yeah, look, I knew that was going to be the case, Michael, that it doesn't shock me. I remember watching that trailer and thinking to myself, that's ballsy. That is ballsy, because that's not good and that's not going to get people interested. And yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
No, it's no good.
No, I mean, it's interesting in terms of the balls it would take, Michael, to actually put that out into the world and be like, this is okay.
Visually, character design wise and look wise, and even, storytelling wise, the thing that it most fit in with for me is I could imagine it as a sequel to the low budget but quite successful movie from the early 2000s, Sky High.
Oh, Sky High!
It has a Sky High aesthetic to it.
Wow. Sky High has become a bizarre and popular thing.
Sky High is quite a good film.
It's become a cult kind of classic from the Disney Channel era, which is very interesting to me. We should also probably do a bloody episode on Sky High.
It has your favourite in it, Ben, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Mm.
That's your favourite, Michael. You're confusing it again.
Anyway, look, I don't have anything else to say about Jupiter's Legacy other than I won't be watching any more of it. No, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, very kind. That's a very nice offer. 20 years too late. Please get out of here.
Please go away.
Yes,
Please
I am
go
quite
away.
happy with my current electricity supplier. Thank you very much.
Thank you very bloody much. It's interesting, Michael, because really,
Go on.
you would have thought after the hit that was the Umbrella Academy that Netflix would have learned how to do a comic book adaptation. Michael.
Apparently not, Ben. Apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, you know what else is interesting about the bloody Umbrella Academy, Michael?
Oh, okay. I don't know. This is an interesting segue. You're leading me down a garden path here.
The commission, Michael. What an interesting idea to have. Michael. What if, right? You had a world and a universe where people were perhaps skipping about, doing what they liked.
Yeah.
Maybe they were teleporting from one place to another. Maybe, just maybe, they were jumping ahead in time a little bit to have a little look-see and see, who am I going to bet on at the ponies this week? Who's going to win this week's derby? Because that's a realistic situation that's definitely still relevant today. And then once we see that,
like horse racing.
surely the universe would go, hang on. Surely little timey-wimey jumpy wumpies are going to have an effect on the overall continuum of this particular time stream. We should probably do something about that. What's that? A little pocket dimension with bureaucrats? Do it. And then, Michael, what we come across is a bloody Irregularities Agency. and they create something to keep their universe stable. Whenever a weird little anomaly pops up in that universe, you can be sure that there's a pencil pusher behind a desk somewhere going, less of that. Less of that.
Less of that. We're going to figure that out. We're going to send in Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, a cup of time. Time cup. Yeah, so the Commission is probably the one that springs most to my mind, Michael. Definitely one of the most enjoyable versions of that trope that I've seen in, number 5 being a little assassin demon Hellboy who works for a strange kind of time agency called the Commission. And it's no good, Michael. It's full of pencil pushers and goldfish-headed men. And
what are they up to, Ben?
Well, what they do, Michael, is they
what are they up to? What do they want?
They ensure, Michael, that time runs as it's supposed to. That nobody goes back in time to kind of save JFK, or nobody goes back in time to prevent World War II or something like that. Because once events happen, Michael, you can't go around changing them willy-nilly. But then, of course, Michael, there's human error involved, and it turns out, spoilers for season 2 of the bloody Umbrella Academy, that the handler, the woman in charge of the Commission, is no good. It's no good. She's been manipulating events across time and space all over the place.
That's never any good, Ben. You don't want that. You don't want people manipulating events all over the place. Benjamin, what's she called? What's her name?
She's the handler.
What's the handler up to? What does she want? What's her goal?
She's collecting little weird anomaly babies. Not dissimilar to what Hargreaves was doing with the original Umbrella Academy, but she's doing it as well, Michael. But what she does, and what makes it way worse, is she doesn't buy the babies off unwilling parents. She murders the parents of loving families and takes the children. No use, so it's no good. And it wasn't really clearly defined what she was doing, other than it completely served her own purposes for wealth and power. So that's an interesting version of that being corrupted. But, Michael, that's not a particularly unique concept. We've seen that all over the place.
Many times, Ben.
Time authorities, time difference authorities, time change authorities, time variance authorities, if you like.
Time and space authorities. Oh, very good. Like the one in Loki.
Loki. So, Michael, we're about to get the Marvel version of that. We're about to get the Marvel version of that in Disney Plus's Loki, where Loki is taken in as a prospective agent of the Time Variance Authority, TVA. Michael,
it's got Owen Wilson in it.
It's got Owen Wilson in it. So I'm very intrigued by this, have been very intrigued by its announcement, Michael, and I took it upon myself to do a little bit of research about it this week. The Time Variance Authority was introduced in 1986, Michael.
Or was it?
Or was it? Who's to say? Maybe they've just made that the date because they're the Time Variance Authority.
Exactly.
And what that is, Michael, is it's a big old bureaucracy. It's a big old kind of government department that nobody knows about. And their jurisdiction is all known universes, Michael. All known universes. It seems like a lot. Because their universe is ever expanding, so they have to expand with it. It's pretty interesting. The Time Variance Authority was introduced in the Thor comic in 1986. And its central goal, Michael, is to ensure the smooth running of a timeline. The smooth running of a timeline. So what you don't want, Michael, is reality hoppers. What you don't want is time backwards and forwards things. The agency came into existence to oppose Kang the Conqueror, Michael.
He's a notorious prick.
The prick. Big Daddy prick. And he, for people that don't know, the Kang the Conqueror character is kind of a ridiculous Golden Age villain. He's a time-hopping despot who goes backwards and forwards in time to build empires, and sometimes he's had an entire empire for a while, but then he remembers, I don't like Reed Richards, and he goes back and he tries to sort that out, or I fucking hate the Avengers, I'm going to leave my empire and sort them out once or twice.
Go sort them out, because they're going to do something in 50,000 years that's going to inconvenience me mildly.
So I'm going to go back to the very date, and then I'm going to sort that out by killing them. And to hell with the consequences. And naturally, Michael, whenever a mad genius says to hell with the consequences, there's a government agent there going, hang on.
We are the consequences.
Audit. So that's what the Time Variance Authority gets up to. So, Michael, what do you think of the Time Variance Authority?
Benjamin, that what you've just described there is almost exactly the plot of the 1994 film Time Cop. starring your favorite actor and mine, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Benjamin, have you ever seen the film Time Cop?
No, I haven't. Haven't had the pleasure, Michael.
Time Cop opens, Ben, with a man, and he goes into the government, and he says, "Now you listen here, government. We have a scientist, and he's figured out time travel. What do you think of that?" And they're like, "Well, we don't see how it will impact us." And he says, "Well, you're wrong, because some terrorists just bought some bombs with some gold from the Confederate Army."
Oh, not the Confederate Army.
Yeah, and the government are like, "That doesn't seem great. What else could go wrong?"
Not ideal.
That doesn't seem... And they're like, "Well, no matter what you want, it probably isn't a good idea. You might think you could go back in time and kill Hitler, but we can't allow that, because who knows what negative repercussions that could have. So we'd like to set up a time variance authority. We'll call it the TEC, the Time Enforcement Commission.
Get fucked. Is that what it's called?
What our job will be, well, we're going to use this guy. This guy, he's from New York, he's a cop, and he's going to be in charge of it." And they go, "That sounds fine. Yeah, that sounds great." And what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time, and we're going to stop any ripples. Ripples is what they call it, Ben.
Nice.
When someone travels back in time and changes the past.
Oh, I like it.
So what we're going to do, Ben, is we're going to hire cops who have no connection to life anymore. So
Okay.
There's this cop. He's a New York street cop, and his name is Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I bet he's
And
tough.
he doesn't speak English very well, even though he's a New York street cop. And look, don't think about it too much. There are bigger logical holes than Jean-Claude Van Damme not speaking English very well. And they hire him, Ben, because his wife was killed in a house explosion.
Oh, no. I hate when that happens.
So, Ben, he has no connections, you know? He has no connections, so they can take him off and he can work in the TEC. And he can travel back in time and he can get people who are causing ripples.
All I can think when you say TEC is don't go chasing waterfalls.
No, that's TLC.
I know, but it's all I can think. All I can think is Jean-Claude Van Damme in leather pants in a waterfall saying, "Don't go chasing waterfalls."
And then he does a splits.
Then he does a split. Anyway, sorry, he's a very believably tough talking street cop.
Tough talking street
who's
cop
got
from
no
New York
time to
City.
life.
And he's got no kind of life. He's got no connections, so he's like the perfect time cop.
This is ridiculous.
But the bizarrest thing about this is there's a complete... It's 1994, so that's going back pretty far, Ben. And, you know, it was kind of revolutionary at the time it came out, this idea of having an agency to police time. But it's very localized policing crime. It's set in 2004, Ben.
Okay.
But anytime someone travels back in time, they travel back in time to New York City in 1994. So I was like, well, that's not great.
Classic.
Is it? That's not too exciting. So yeah, anyway, look, he has to stop people, and it turns out there's an evil government man, Ben, and he's traveling back in time to set himself up as president.
That sounds like the Handler.
So yeah, exactly, Ben. And he has a time machine as well, and he's going back and he's doing deals and he's changing the past. And Ben, remember how his wife died in a house explosion?
Oh no, Michael, does it turn out that he causes the house explosion?
It turns out that evil senator causes the house explosion.
Oh, what a dickbag.
He sent the men back in time to kill him and accidentally. But Ben, there are no coherent, logical... for example, right? They travel back in time. They meet the senator. Jean-Claude Van Damme, as he's wont to, kicks him in the head.
Oh yeah,
and gives him a scar. And when he gives him a scar forms on the older version's face straight away. You know, cool. But then later on, Jean-Claude Van Damme goes against the wishes of the TEC and saves his wife.
What?
Now, Ben, he gets away with it because it's not changing time, it's undoing a change in time that another time traveler had done.
So it is an irregularity amendment.
So, exactly. So that's how he can get away with it. But when he saves his wife, it doesn't change his life at all. Except when he goes back to the future, he has a wife and child. But if he had a wife and child, he wouldn't have been hired by the TEC.
Yeah, so he's undone his own career.
But he didn't.
Boo.
It doesn't make any sense, Ben.
Boo.
It doesn't make any sense.
Boo. Do you think,
Ben.
Actually, Michael, thinking of an interesting, add-on to that, maybe that's how time cops get to retire. maybe they have to work for the TEC for as long as they can, and then when it comes to retirement age, they're finally given the opportunity to go back and fix their mistake, and that means they get a happy life, and that's how they retire. Isn't that interesting? But that has a knock-on, Michael, then to the fact that if they never join the TEC, if they undo their own career, did they ever fix the problem in the first place? Oh my God, Michael!
Ben, I have no time for time travel films. I fucking hate them. I hate this bullshit. I hate it. But anyway, Ben, Time Cop is
not practical.
Time Cop is fun for a couple of points. First of all, Ben, the future segments are set in 2004, and they have the worst future car designs you've ever seen.
Oh, nice.
It is worth going to see it just to see the state of what they thought future cars would look like as early as 2000. No, Ben, it's a normal car with a cheap plastic shell put over the top of it to look futuristic, but it looks fucking stupid. And Benjamin, it also has what I believe to be the worst knife fight ever committed to film.
Oh, nice.
So they sent some time assassins to get Jean-Claude Van Damme. And
Right.
Jean-Claude Van Damme gets lucky and he gets one of the knives. And they have a knife fight like a sword fight.
That's not how knives work.
No, it's not how knives work at all. So they're just clanging knives off each other.
No!
And at one point, Jean-Claude Van Damme gets backed up against the wall, holds his knife out in front of him, and the other guy clangs it 7 or 8 times. It's utterly appalling. It's terrible. It is terrible.
Maybe it's a Time Cop fight. I don't know.
Probably Jean-Claude Van Damme's best film at the same time.
Yeah.
I
like that. I quite like that, Michael.
So, yes, Ben, what is funny about it and interesting from a kind of Anomalies Agencies is it's a cool and interesting idea, but it is really narrow in scope. Like the idea that all of time and space would be policed by 20 people in New York.
Yeah, I mean, that's always kind of the interesting thing about that kind of timey-wimey stuff, isn't it? How do you produce a decent... It's the Doctor Who fallacy. It's amazing how aliens always want to fucking have a go at London. When, realistically, it doesn't make sense. I remember when the 13th season of Doctor Who came out and it was set in America, people were like, whoa!
Oh, America!
Doctor
Big
Who's
budget shit!
And I was like, really? So I mean, that's always the issue with timey-wimey stuff. And I think, Michael, that's probably why comic books are the perfect place to play around with that concept. And it makes sense why these things crop up in comic books so often, is because you have unlimited budget, effectively. You just need a decent artist who can visualize weird, wacky concepts.
And you have unlimited imagination, Ben.
Yeah, so I mean, then you could do a lot of different things. One of the interesting irregularity agencies that I've come across that has been pastiched several times over, Michael, is the Council of Reeds in the Fantastic Four comics.
Go on.
So the Council of Reeds is a creation by Jonathan
Reed
Hickman.
Richards.
Jonathan Hickman. Give over. Jonathan Hickman, who wrote kind of a really seminal run on Fantastic Four, where he kind of did really high concept sci-fi stuff, interdimensional hopping, bloody philosophical debates on the ethics of what Reed Richards does all the time. And this introduces to the concept of the Council of Reeds. The Council of Reeds is a coalition of Reeds from across the multiverse, who have chosen intellect above all. So whenever a Reed, this is where it gets very strange, whenever a Reed discovers a certain formula, that means that they are ready for initiation into the Council of Reeds, and they gain access to the collected knowledge of a host of Reeds across the multiverse.
You keep saying Reeds, Ben. Do you mean Ricks?
I mean, very good, Michael. So, because that sounds so stupid, Michael, naturally, Rick and Morty went, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's take the ever-living piss out of that. So that's what they do, Michael. And in the Fantastic Four run, the Council of Reeds are quite menacing because they follow kind of utilitarian devotion to knowledge, and it's knowledge above all. And screw Reed, screw the kids, screw Ben, screw Johnny. What about knowledge, man? And that's their goal. Whereas in Rick and Morty, the Council of Ricks are a bunch of a-holes. They're whiny and they've joined together because they're afraid of, interdimensional prosecution and stuff like that. And the Rick that we're familiar with, the Rick from Earth C-23, I think that's right, is the Maverick, and he is the anomaly that they constantly try to hunt down and fail miserably in their pursuit of, because he is the rickiest of Ricks.
He's the Maverick.
He's the nice.
Delicious.
Nice. So that's kind of the idea there. But this concept of, it's a different type of irregularities agency, and they're not necessarily mending irregularities so much as inviting them into the fold. So whenever a Reed kind of peaks in his universe, he gets an invitation. And then naturally, because the Reed of Earth 616 is our central focus, he has to come up with a plan to stop them, because he realizes overall that their goals are too utilitarian and too cold and too unloving of humanity and blah, 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 blah. But they are a form of interdimensional kind of irregularity agency, and I quite like them. But, Michael,
yes,
just because it's timey-wimey or parallel dimension-y doesn't mean that's the only kind of irregularity agencies that we get, Michael. We've had one that everybody is familiar with, no matter who you are in the Western world, Michael. Everyone is familiar with a particular irregularities agency, and it goes a little bit like this. Here come the Men in Black. Men in Black.
Galaxy Defenders, Ben. Here come the Men in Black. They won't let you remember. So
they won't let you remember.
Benjamin, I read the original Men in Black comics from Aircel Comics later, Malibu Comics later, Marvel Comics from 1990.
Wow.
Have you ever read or seen it?
I have seen the film, Michael. I have glanced the comic books, and I am a huge fan of the cartoon series that was put on Saturday mornings.
Very good. Benjamin, perhaps the most interesting and defining thing about the original Men in Black, the comic book series, being about an irregularities agency, is when they decided to make the film, they decided to make it about Men in Black, the traditional Men in Black. They show up after there's been UFOs.
Yep.
And they say, hello, has there been UFOs? And the people say, oh, yeah, y'all, there's definitely been UFOs, because it's always Americans. There's definitely been UFOs, y'all. And then the Men in Black go, no, there haven't, have there now? And everyone goes, no, you're right, there haven't been any UFOs.
Sorry, bang on.
Business. Yeah. Nice one. Grant, that's sorted then, isn't it? But Benjamin, the comic book Men in Black isn't about that.
Is it not?
No, not at all, Ben. The comic book Men in Black, Ben, they police all sorts of irregularities.
Oh, I like that, Michael.
They police aliens, interdimensional hopping, people's phones going off during podcasts. They police the supernatural, Ben, the occult.
Oh, I like it, Michael.
They police They police basically everything and anything weird.
That would make a very good televisual series, Michael.
Yeah. Now, you could argue, Ben, very broad.
Yeah.
Very, very, very broad. But the very first Men in Black, Ben, is about a cult who have developed a drug that makes people go crazy and super strong.
Oh, nice.
And that's how they recruit Jay into the Men in Black. He's working undercover in a drugs gang.
Oh, get out of town.
Yeah, no aliens, Ben. No aliens? No aliens, no magic cars, they're just a secret government agency.
That's good, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's very interesting. Good. Yeah.
That sounds very
they're not they're not a government agency. They're above and beyond the government.
Oh, they're above and beyond the government, are they now?
Exactly, Ben. They don't answer to no one because they're the Men in Black.
Oh, that's interesting.
But the funny thing about it is, Ben, the first story arc of Men in Black, the comic book, is about, a Mexican drug smuggling cartel, and it's set on like the border between Mexico and the US, and
like the opening of Men in Black.
Exactly. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. So that's what they kept.
Some of it does carry across to the movie, and of course Kay being a grizzled old veteran.
Tommy Lee Jones
originally approached Clint Eastwood, apparently. and he wasn't interested.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think Tommy
and
Lee Jones was the right choice.
So do I, Benjamin. But you know what's funny about it? This film came out around the same time as Batman and Robin.
Oh.
And
Oh.
Tommy Lee Jones wanted to play his part comedically, apparently. And the director, Barry Sonnenfeld, was like, no, you're not doing any comedy, Tommy Lee Jones. This only works if you're Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith is Will Smith.
That's good. That's good. Good direction there for Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yes, good choices. Good choices.
Controversially, Michael, the first one is the only good one.
I don't think there's anything controversial about that. The first one is an excellent buddy cop action adventure, government
Interesting
secret
concept.
agency.
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. It's a great film. The second one is a passable film, and the third one is poop.
And then we got Men in Black International, which has Chris Hemsworth. And
No good. No good, Ben.
good.
So
Just a
bad.
terrible film from top to bottom.
Yeah,
Just
so bad I
so-
forgot to even consider it there when I was talking about the series. But the first one, Ben, excellent. And
Just
it does
peak 90s blockbuster. Num 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 num.
absolutely delicious, Ben. And the secret government agency side of it is fantastic. The fact that their base is in like a ventilation tower, wonderful, excellent, fantastic. The recruitment process where they recruit Will Smith through...
The recruitment process is one of the all-time great scenes in cinema.
It is.
It's just, I like it's flawed logic when you think about it out loud.
Very flawed.
In the moment when you're watching it, your brain just goes, yes, that is exactly why you would hire this man, because he spots weird little anomalies. Oh, look at his practical nature. Look at him getting down and dirty with this kind of world. Look at him, and
He
in
just
your head,
moved the table.
watching that scene, it's like, who cares if it makes a noise? It's practicality, damn it. He's got to complete the test. I like it. I thought it was excellent.
But Ben,
go on.
from a logical perspective, he shouldn't have shot that girl because she had science
Trigonometry books? No.
That
Absolutely
was
not.
Bit much.
Absolutely
Bit
not.
much.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Just because he also only shot one person, surely one of the monsters could have had a little shooting, given how often the aliens break out of their meat suits and try to have a go at the agents. Surely quick reaction time in those situations is essential.
Yes. Well, I mean, the saving grace of that scene, Ben, is that they might hire him in spite of that. It's never stated that that's the right answer.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more he's thinking outside the box. It's not that he's definitely right and all those other stuffed suits were wrong.
That's true. That's true.
And like he only fired one shot and he put it dead center through her head. So
that's true. He's also an excellent fucking shot.
He's an excellent shot. He can chase down a guy who looks like Ray Park but isn't Ray Park on foot. It's good. It's a very good. It's a very, 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 very good film, Ben.
What a film!
And good old Vincent D'Onofrio, does not get enough credit for a spectacular performance.
A performance!
Absolutely incredible. Vincent D'Onofrio has just been in the background of Hollywood, being Hollywood's best actor for years.
That's all he does. He just turns up, steals the show, and then people forget.
Yeah. Was that Vincent D'Onofrio? It's hard to tell. He's a chameleon in human form.
He's a fucking chameleon. Vincent D'Onofrio. Michael, you had to sit through one more ill-fated kind of... do we have time to do this? I don't know.
What time is it?
It's
22
minutes in. Okay. All right, you got time. You sat through one more ill-fated bloody 90s comic adaptation, which arguably was far less successful, and that was R.I.P.D.
No use.
No use, Michael. So, for any of the listeners out there, you might only be familiar with this from the ill-fated Jeff Bridges, Ryan Reynolds film that came out, I want to say 6 years ago now, 7 years ago?
Maybe even more.
2013, maybe?
I'm not sure. I'll look it up while you...
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
Words.
Should have been, Michael, a fucking home run. You've got Jeff Bridges as an old-timey cowboy. You've got bloody Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds.
Will Smith.
Yeah, he's Will Smith. It should have been a home run. It's got an interesting concept. Basically, lots of things try to crawl their way back from the other side of the veil, Michael. The dead try to come back every once in a while. They're huge monstrous things that hide in human form, Men in Black. the RIPD is the Irregularity Agency that takes care of that. They're really into all white decor. There's an awful lot of bureaucracy and rules. Men in Black. And yeah, it should have been a nice little return to form. Instead, Michael, what we got is a hot mess.
Hot mess? God damn it, Ben. Hot mess.
Hot mess. It's a boring film, which I don't think it has any right to be, given like the big people it has involved. Kevin Bacon is there, Michael.
Kevin Bacon is in it?
Kevin Bacon's in it. Bloody, there's a Steely Dan song at one point. It's got everything it needs to be decent, and it has no right to be as bad as it is. But it's just an unenjoyable film. I dislike Jeff Bridges in that film, which I didn't think I could do, but I can. I remember watching him going, "This is hammy. This is weird."
Men in Black, the first Men in Black, has a lot to answer for giving Hollywood the wrong idea about what was good about it. It's very good, and the dynamic of the grumpy older man and but that, that's any cop movie can do that.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. It's Lethal Weapon. It's the same dynamic as Lethal Weapon. You got a young maverick, and you've got the grumpy old cop who's on the edge of retirement.
Who's too old for this shit?
He's too old for it, Ben. What's he even doing there? But everyone got the wrong message about it, and every single one after that got bigger and weirder and wackier.
Yeah.
And the whole point of it was this is supposed to be just under the surface. One of the telling things about the first Men in Black is that it says there are 1,500 aliens on Earth.
And that's
all. 1,500, and the majority are in New York, in Manhattan.
Because that's the waiting room. That's
also where all the weirdos are.
Yeah. Oh, true. Because they blend in better. Yeah.
They blend in with all the weirdos. Like when we meet Frank the Pug, and they think his handler is the alien, but it turns out it's Frank the Pug.
That's the little pug.
Yeah, he's the alien. But it's not massively weird and wacky, that movie.
It's very subtle.
I wouldn't go that far.
But it's the oddity, and it's subverting expectation. For example, Pug and Owner.
Yeah.
And it's you think you're talking to the owner, but it's actually the pug. Do you know what I mean? Like, those little moments are what make it so surreal, where you're like, oh.
Yes.
It's also not very mean.
And
I think the later films became very mean. The character who's Vincent D'Onofrio's character, who gets taken over by the roach, Edgar. His wife is actually kind of sympathetic when she's interviewed. Now, she's a little bit parodied as like a deep south kind of hard-working woman. Hick, if you will. But there's still a great tragedy to the fact that she lost her husband to this weird alien thing, and it's quite interesting. I don't know. It's quite nicely done, Michael. It's very human.
As opposed to Men in Black International, Ben, where there is no way that the normal world is happening at the same time as that.
No, there's a nightclub filled with aliens.
Every second person you meet is aliens in that film.
Yeah, and it's rich people are aliens.
Yeah.
Bloody
gangsters are aliens.
Gangsters are aliens.
Henchmen
Aliens are aliens.
Aliens are aliens. Everyone's aliens. They should have just called it Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson in Everyone is Aliens, because it's no good. It's not just beneath the veneer of normal society. We're in a wacky Everyone is Aliens world.
Yes, but also the stakes are much higher for no reason. All of a sudden, there's a ravenous race that's trying to, cross dimensions to eat, or to cross time and space to eat Earth.
Well, one of my favourite lines in the first one, Ben, is when Will Smith says, like, the Argonians are pointing an Earth-destroying laser, and Tommy Lee Jones says, there's always someone pointing an Earth-destroying laser.
Yeah.
Calm yourself down. And
he's
like, it's big, but it is just one alien being a bit of a prick and them hunting him down.
Yeah. And it works.
It's such a good film. It's such a good film, and it's responsible for a lot of the bad ones that came after it.
Real shame. So the moral of the story is, ladies, don't make good things, because then we'll just have to deal with a whole host of shit things. Straight away after generic shit things. Ladies and gentlemen.
Benjamin.
Yes.
I also read The Filth by Grant E.M.
Do you want to go through that now?
No, very quickly though, we'll point out it's about an Irregularities Agency who are trying to keep humanity on the status quo, Ben. Keep everyone on the straight and narrow. But once again, Ben, it turns out that they're a bit. They've got an ulterior motive.
Ah, the dicks.
Yeah, and it's always an ulterior motive. But we'll talk about Grant DM another day and his weird agencies.
We most certainly will. We most certainly will, Michael. Michael,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen, what did
Yes.
we miss?
Yes.
What are your favourite Irregularities Agencies? Do you enjoy the Men in Black films? What's your favourite Men in Black film? We should probably do an episode on how seminal the first Men in Black films was. I think we could get 40
good.
minutes out of that, Michael.
So good. So good. One of the best.
If you'd like to be on that podcast, or if you have expertise in Men in Black, give us a shout. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we'll be taking a look. It's our 200th episode, Michael. We've been doing this for far too long.
So many.
It's our 200th episode next week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very emotional about it. Mick is very emotional about it. We are going to be taking a look at a rather unusual thing. What made a footprint? What stuck? What stood the test of time? We've been doing this now for nigh on 4.5 years.
3.5, I think.
Was it 3.5 years? A lot of pop
Yeah.
culture stuff has happened. Some of it we thought was going to be around forever. It wasn't. And some of it we thought would never make it. And it bloody has. So what do you think has come out in the last 5 years that's really made a footprint on the cultural landscape? And what was a complete and utter bloody flop?
What just disappeared off the face of the earth?
What just
Game
walked
of Thrones.
away? Bloody Game of Thrones. Bloody other things that aren't popping to my mind right now. Lovecraft Country. There we go. Came back. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what that was. We would love to hear from all of you for our 200th episode. So do write into us. You can do it in the following ways. You can find us on the interwebs at www.seomrabeag.com, SEOMRABEAG.com.
Means tiny room in Irish.
You can also find us on the Instagram at Seomrabeag, SEOMRABEAG.
Same spelling. No,
Same.
you see, you've spelled it again. You're supposed to.
Is that not what I always
did?
did?
No, you say it. Just say it.
Okay, at Seomrabeag.
Yeah, and then you say same spelling,
Same spelling.
and then I say same meaning,
Okay, so you want to take it
and
from
then
the
I
top?
say more or less. No, fuck it.
Okay, fair enough. You'd think after 200 episodes we'd have gotten better at this. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us for this week. Do write into us and let us know what you think. Bye-bye.
All right, bye everybody. Here go the Men in Black. The episode is over. Just move with me.